There's 50,000 homes in the courts at the moment. That's 50,000 families in the courts at the moment about to lose their homes if we do nothing. There's another 50,000 coming by the end of the year. And we're not even talking about the people who've handed their keys in. Do your maths, that's nearly 500,000 men, women and children facing the road over the next year and a half if we do nothing about it. Now thus far, most of those people have been waiting for a white knight to come over the hill. The banks will come up with an answer, the government will come up with an answer. Nobody has come up with an answer. And right now, in the next year, there's up to 500,000 men, women and children facing the road. So that's the problem. What's the solution? We've had 5 years now of government interfering, of financial advisors of different sorts interfering, and there's been no solution. And yet when we look back to the 1860s and the 1870s, the solution stares us in the face. You are the solution. We are the solution. In the 1860s and the 1850s, rents were being put through the roof. Today we have unsustainable mortgage repayments to deal with. People were facing eviction en masse. Today we've got the same problem. So what did they do? Well, they did two things. And it's what our strategy is in the National Land League. They neutralised the administration and the apparatus of eviction. That means educating people about how to write letters, about how to stand up and defend yourself in the courts. Now, the power of that, beyond anything else, is the power of numbers. For every single court case, a repossession case, it has to go in front of a county registrar at the beginning. And there has to be not one, but 2 sittings. If somebody goes in and says, I want to defend myself, they might get 3 or 4 sittings out of the registrar before going to a judge. Now let's do the mathematics of it. There are 25 registrars in this country. 25. They have to have 2 sittings at a minimum of 100,000 cases, which is 200,000 cases. 200,000 sittings or hearings before it even goes near a judge. So mathematically the numbers are on our side. But our problem so far has been getting that message out there. So we are fishing for men and women to get involved in the Land League. We're not asking you to commit your life like some people have, but to get involved. Maybe on your street where you know that there's people in trouble. Getting a leaflet in their door, things like that. Now in County Louth, we realised that there was a lot of people going to meetings over the last few years, national meetings, but you could say we were running around like Elizabeth I's and Hitler's and Napoleon's. We thought we ran the country because we were going to a few national meetings. But everybody was going home and doing nothing. But 6 months ago in County Louth, we decided, let's sit back, let's stop going to the national meetings for a while, and let's come up with a model for change. How can people like myself and yourself get together if there's a model that you can use to get people defending themselves? And we devised a model which consists of clinics and workshops in every town and every county, and we tested it in Louth. At the moment we're helping about 150 people in Louth who have problems, and we're hoping to multiply that out big time because we're training people to help them as well. Now, we've moved into Meath. Damien and Francis are from the Meath branch, and so is Paul in fact. We're all over the west of Ireland. We're in Monaghan, we're in Westmeath, and we're in Cavan. And we're growing. For each one of those places now we have an office. We have places to hold clinics and we have somewhere to go. We've also got a dedicated phone number for every single region that we're in. So we're really doing it. The people of the 1870s didn't have an arse in their trousers. They didn't have a penny in their pocket, just like us, but they did it, and they did it with no internet, and they did it with no cars or anything like that. And in 3 years, they achieved the 3 Fs. And back then, the 3 Fs were fair rent, freedom of sale, and fixity of tenure. In other words, that you can't get kicked out. What's our 3 Fs? Pretty simple and pretty similar. Fair mortgages, fixity of tenure or fixity of occupation, that the bank can't kick you out, and freedom of sale, that you can choose to sell your home and your house whenever you want. So that's the simple 3 things that we want to achieve. Now I've outlined the soft, fluffy administrative things that we do. Our clinics, our workshops, our supporting people. But that's not all that they did in the 1870s, and we have to man up a little bit, or woman up as the case may be. Because if we want to achieve what we want to achieve in 3 years, we need to get out onto the streets. We need to put the limelight and the spotlight on this crisis. Because water is not the crisis. The crisis is 500,000 men, women and children facing the street within the next year. That's what the crisis is. So we don't have time to be polite. We don't have time to play softly and be fluffy all the time. So over the next while, you're going to be hearing about court injunctions taken out against some of our senior members. I don't know what to mean by that. I'll figure it out in a minute and let it go. So you'll see in the news as well, High Court injunctions by security firms being taken out against our members. Don't let that scare you. You don't have to put yourself in that position if you don't want to. But some of us have to, because that's the way to get the limelight. That's the way to get it. I got it now. So that's the way that we get the limelight around the country. We've been doing this now for 6 months with our clinics and our workshops. It's never in the local newspapers. Nothing. They don't care. But if we have a protest, we'll be on the front page. So if that's what we have to do, that's what we are going to do. So we're going to offer support and advice to people who are in court and educate people about how to read banking letters and how to defend themselves. And we're doing that. But at the same time, we have to get more proactive on the street, because we are going to be completely ignored by a government who wants to get elected next year otherwise. That's the overall strategy. In terms of what you can contribute to the Land League, all you have to do is to be human and to be able to smile and shake somebody's hand, make somebody a cup of tea, or take a phone call when somebody's anxious. That's at a minimum what we would like from people who want to be proactive in the Land League. Ideally, we would like people to get onto our workshops and to educate ourselves and to spread the word. But at a minimum, if you can offer comfort to somebody, in our clinics in Dundalk and Drogheda, we have people coming through the door who have cancer and who are intuitively sure that their cancer is linked to their debt, and they're worrying and how their debt has affected their lifestyle over the last few years. We have people coming in the door who would prefer to be medicated by their doctors for depression than to actually face up and deal with their problems. We have people who come in and tell us they have suicidal ideation, that they're trying to plan their own death, but they do just for insurance reasons. On a daily basis, this is what's coming into us. So if you can offer them a smile and tell them it's not the end of the world, that if they want to evict you, the worst comes to the worst, if you stick with us, it would take 5 or 6 years, and we're going to win that battle within that 5 or 6 years. If the Land League could do it in 3, let's aim to do it in 1.5. We've got the internet, and we've got cards, but we've got more than that. For the last 5 or 6 years, a group of individuals, some of them knowing each other, some of them not knowing each other, have travelled the length and breadth of this country, educating themselves and educating other people. And it hasn't been a waste of time, because we've learned our mistakes. Luckily, before the main crisis came on, we learned how to work with people that sometimes we don't even agree with. But we've learned that now. We have the basis to change this country. And as much as we are meeting here today, these launches are happening all over Ireland. So don't feel that you're alone in this room today, or that it's only happening in Louth. So I'm going to sign off by asking you all to commit, make a pledge for 1 year only, to get involved, and we will see a new and a bright Ireland. But if you don't get involved, who knows where we're going to go. So I'm just asking people to make a pledge in one way or another to get involved over the next year. That's me done, folks.